All right. Welcome to Facebook Live. My name is Chad Jones, and I'm the Assistant DOC here with Illinois Fire Juniors. With that, happy to be here. We're here with Pete Cowell and Ashlee. How are you guys doing today?
Hey guys.
Awesome, doing well.
Good. All right. Let's start out by getting to know you guys a little bit. Ashlee, ladies always go first. So tell me a little bit about yourself, where you're from, family, etc.
Yep. So I was born in Blue Mound, Illinois. And then we moved to Bloomington when I was 6. And I grew up, my family, I had 2 older brothers, and all of us grew up playing soccer, travel soccer here in Bloomington Normal for Bloomington Normal Soccer Club, back is what it was called back then. And I have my family now, my husband, Josh, and then I have a 9-year-old son, Gavin, and we also have a 9-month-old daughter, Natalie.
That keeps you busy, real busy there.
Yep, they're fun.
Coach Pete, tell us a little bit about yourself.
All my friends are surprised that I am live and talking to you from my home. I'm that guy in the video pressing the button. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? So, you got to love friends like Brandon Menke and Denise Fife that say, hey, you did it. So it's awesome. So yeah. I think there was one weekend when I was young and my brother said, hey, you're coming with me. And I didn't know where we were going. And we were going to soccer practice, and I was like 8 or something like that. And I don't know. I followed him. We walked down the street. He was playing soccer. I sat on the sides, and I don't know. It was like maybe a junior high game at age or something like that. And they said they needed another one. They just had me jump in. So I jumped in, and this was Northbrook, Illinois. A few years ago, let's just say a few years ago, Coach Jones. Okay, while Ashlee is laughing.
Yes, it's true.
I have 2 beautiful children. Anna's 16 and Kevin is 19. Kevin's at Heartland and Anna's at U-High.
Okay, great. With that, one fun fact with Ashlee, her dad used to be my soccer coach a long time ago. So it's a small world in this coaching thing with that. So let's do this. Coach Pete, what is your role with the club?
About 4.5 years ago, maybe 4.5 years ago, after a tournament, Coach Murren sat me down, and I thought he'd gone mad. He said he wanted me to take over the academy. So that was fun. Ashlee is reacting just like everybody else in the club probably reacted, thinking that Coach Murren had lost all sense of his mind. So I am the academy director and have been doing that for 4.5 years. And I would say that my patience level has gone from 1 to 8. So that's good. And yeah, I mean, it's different. As a former college coach, as a former club coach that mainly worked with high school girls, it was a challenge. And Ashlee knows, Craig Lee knows, Joe Morelli knows. That first year, they were looking at me like, dude, do you need some help? And I said, yes, please. So they gave me a lot of help and pointers. And there were a few things that Coach Lee took from me. So I was proud about that. Joe always looked good. So that was a good thing. And, and then other people filtered in like Ashlee and people like Matt Ranson, some other people and all that. So, I mean, without all the good coaches that were in academy, I probably wouldn't be here. I'd be somewhere else, maybe 7 feet under. So I'm not a very patient person. So all of those coaches really helped out, whether it was Jim Robinson or, Matt Rustemeyer with schedules or anything like that. So I really appreciate all those coaches that helped me get through that, because that first 1.5 years was pretty tough for me.
I would speak to
Coach Ashlee.
In the academy with Coach Pete was how awesome of a job he does with them. Yes, 20 years ago, I would have laughed if you would have told me that he'll eventually coach the little kids. But he does a phenomenal job with them, and we're really impressed when I went through the system with it, with his patience, and he has put a great program in place.
What is your current role with the club, Ashlee?
I'm a staff coach, and I coach my son's team. It's a 2010 and Red East boys team.
Okay.
So we have 5 teams for our age group. So we've had to divide them up. So we are Red East. There's a Red West as well. And then we have a White East, White West, and then a Navy.
That's awesome. Now, how long you've been with this group? Is this the first year with this group?
Yeah. So I've coached with Fire for the last 2 years. My son played PCSL. And then he came to us and said, hey, I want to play at a more competitive level. So we jumped over to Fire. And last year we were still an academy. So there were even teams, we kind of mixed the kids around and had teams. And then this is our first year outside of academy together. So yes, this will be my first year. This is my first year with this group.
Okay, good. Now, how did you get involved with soccer?
Do you want me to take that first?
Yes, please. Yeah, go ahead, Coach Ashlee. How'd you get involved with soccer?
So I grew up, I have, obviously my dad coached when I was very young, and I have 2 older brothers, one that's 4 years older than me and one that's 8 years older than me. And they started playing. So we grew up playing it. And, back then it really just wasn't a thing. I grew up going to their stuff and I was going to play. And so I played in a league down in Decatur. And then we moved to Bloomington when I was 6. And there was a U8 boys team. So that'd be the year older team than I, called Subway Lightning. That takes you back. But anyhow, I tried out for their team and made it. So that was kind of my introduction to the club back then. And I played a year with them. And then the next year we created a team for our age, which was Avanti Aces. And I played with that boys team. So here in Bloomington Normal, it has come such a long way. It's so impressive that we have multiple teams for each age group. Back then we were just trying to field one team. So I played with that team from U8 all the way. I finally switched gears and left going into my 8th grade year. Obviously the boys get bigger, faster, stronger. And so I needed to kind of make that split from them and move over to the girls' side. So that's how I got involved, was just starting when I was young.
You want to go next, Coach Jones?
Yes, please do.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So, yeah, after my brother took me to that field and I got to jump in, I fell in love with the game. Actually, my second favorite sport is golf. Although some people that are on this or watching this will probably laugh about that because they've seen me golf. It's not pretty. I decided at a young age that I was up in Chicago in Northbrook, and there was an ad. My dad, basically said, go get a job. And I said, okay. So I saw an ad about coaching soccer, youth soccer. And, it was like park soccer, it was PCSL soccer. And so up in Chicago, and I did that on a Saturday, and it was just a blast. I mean, there was a lot of different things. And in that day it was, roll the ball out and let the kids play, that kind of thing. And maybe a few line drills, but I did that. And then I started playing with Schwaben Soccer Club up in Chicago, which is a club up north of where I lived in the North Shore. So that's how I started in it. And then I played high school, played with the club, and then there was some summer ball that we played near Evanston and New Trier and things like that. So I ended up playing there, and then I went on and played in college. So I was lucky because a few years ago it was easier for someone like me to get onto a college team. Remember, I said that, Coach Joan, a few years ago.
Let's say this though. Coach Pete has coached me, and I thought he was 50 back then.
You're lucky I like you, Coach Ashlee. I like you a lot. So there you go. Yep. I can jump in with the 8 and 9-year-olds.
Yes.
And I think my capacity is about a minute and a half, and then I need a sub.
Yep. You totally can handle them.
Yeah. There you go.
I bet you could still hang with our guys though too. So I think we lost Coach Chad. I can catch up on so my later years. So I left and went to after playing with the boys team in 8th grade, I moved over. I had to kind of decide if I wanted to go to Chicago or St. Louis to continue playing. So I went over to St. Louis and played for Bush Soccer Club, which is now St. Louis Scott Gallagher. It's merged into one bigger club. And so I played for them my 8th grade year and then all 4 years of high school. So I still lived here and I went to U High, played 4 years of soccer at U High and loved it. It was a great experience and a huge benefit for me. I was able to take a 0 hour so I could leave at 2, leave an hour earlier. And that way I could head down to St. Louis and we would practice down at Soccer Park, if anybody's familiar with that. So it's South St. Louis. So I made the drive down there. It was 3 hours and I had to go typically 3 times a week. It depended on the situation. And then I had games down there on the weekends, whether it was league tournaments, we would travel all over or whatnot. So played there. And then I was fortunate enough to move on and play in college. So I went to Texas A&M, which is a D1 school down in Texas. And then was able to play. I played 1 year professional. So the league was called Women's Professional Soccer, so the WPS. And I played for St. Louis Athletica. So that's what brought me back to the St. Louis area.
So I'm going to jump in because it looks like Mr. Jones having some technical difficulties. Pete, you hear me?
Yep.
Ashlee?
Yep.
Wonderful. Okay. So let's mix it up a little bit here. So Coach Pete, so what are some things you have been doing personally? What are some things you've been doing for the club since the shutdown? Give us a little bit of a sense of that, if you would.
Yeah, I'm blessed to have we've had some great help with Chrissy and Amanda. Sarah Parola is sort of the my right-hand person in terms of helping manage Academy a little bit. Tammy's done a great job as well. So we've really tried to press or implement the Juggle Tag program, the 10, 15, 25 program. So it's really cool to see. Actually, one of the coolest things, I think we had one practice and Lavazza got his 10 juggle card tag. So as I was driving home that night, I was so pumped. And then all of this happened. So it was kind of a blessing in disguise that, we got to see that. You could tell that he had done his work and that he had really worked on juggling at that time. So it's really something that Sarah and I, we social distance in a Target parking lot and exchanged some materials. And so Academy kids are now being, told to try and really work on that. Murren, you and me, Ashlee, probably the same thing. In the old days, that's what we did. We went out in the backyard and we played. We went on the street and we played. We got 4 bags, 4 shoes, made goals and played. We didn't need to be told. We didn't need a coach. We just went out and played. And so, trying to encourage everybody to do something. I've talked to several coaches in the club world, and some of my friends are looking on our website to see what we're doing because we're doing a lot more according to them than they're doing with their clubs. So it's really cool to see those Facebook trainings, the ones that I can log into, Coach Menke, and that I can actually touch and hear the people and see the people. So I really appreciate all this training. I saw the Ashley Gavin backyard training. I saw some of the other training, the Josie and Joe show. So I think that's really cool. And I'm really happy that we're doing that because I think, again, people will need some ideas. I do feel bad for all those families that are becoming parents at home and, they have kids at home like Ashlee and they're not used to that. I don't have that. So I do appreciate people's patience. So for me, I think it's great.
You've been keeping yourself busy then, Coach Pete. It's good to hear. So, and I hear that golf's picked up a little bit too.
Mm-hmm.
So great, Coach Ashlee. So what about you, Coach Ashlee? What have you been getting up to just personally? And I know you touched on your baby there a little bit earlier, but also just from your team and club perspective as well.
Yep. So with our 2010 boys, Gavin and I have created some workout videos for the team. So I think we've done about 10, I would say. workouts, and then we have different things each week. So we're recommending the kids do at least 3 workouts a week. Like this week, for example, they're doing workout 3 and workout 4. So that way, you know, it's every couple of weeks they're doing a different workout, or they're doing that workout again. And then the latest, what we've done to add a little bit more fun is we've created several shooting videos. And so I told them just to do 3 different videos from the shooting video. So I think there's like 10 videos in there that they can do on their own. A couple of them they can do with a partner or whatnot. So they've been having fun with that. We have a weekly challenge. So this week is soccer tennis. How many can they get between them and their family member, and they're competing against the rest of the team. We have restrictions in place. We've done juggling. We've done figure eights. We've tried several different challenges with that. We also did, early on, we did hangout videos, which was each kid had a series of questions asked to them. Just wanting them to have, the parent do a video of them, and then they posted it to the team, just so the kids could hear from them, hear what they were up to, what they've been doing, which was really neat. And then we have Zoom meeting once a week. So we've done, tonight we actually had our Zoom meeting, so we did trivia. The last couple we've done scavenger hunts, categories, ask them questions. So we're doing different things each week with that. So staying pretty busy with that with our team. And then with that, I did a Facebook Live for the club. And then we're here tonight doing another Facebook Live, get to know you.
You've been busy too. So here's something. I don't think I've ever asked you guys this one. Do you guys remember the first time that you met? Is that an interesting story?
So I would say probably the first time we met would be I went to the ISU soccer camps, and Coach Pete he coached there for 10 years, Coach? So obviously growing up in the area, wanting to go to ISU, and going to those camps growing up. But I do have a fun story. I don't know.
Okay, here we go. Get ready, Coach Pete.
But I went to an ODP camp in Iowa, and Coach Pete was my coach. I was probably 10 at the time, probably, I'm guessing. And it was one of my first overnight trips with ODP. And Coach Pete was my coach. And back then we didn't know anybody else at camp. You're going into it. And every night when we'd walk home from the fields to the dorm, we would pass a Dairy Queen. And so Coach Pete said, hey, on this night, which was like night 3 or 4, like our last night being there, everybody bring money, and you guys, after practice, we'll go to the Dairy Queen. So our team got after practice, we're all hustling real quick, and we're walking. There was 3 of us, including myself. I'll admit I'm guilty. We speed walked ahead of our group because the group in front of us was also going, and we wanted to get in front of them. And we got there, and Coach Pete pulled us out, letting us know that we weren't a team because we didn't stick with the team. And so we didn't get ice cream. So to this day, I want Pete to know that he owes me ice cream from Dairy Queen.
Yeah. There's no I in team, Coach Ashlee.
I know. Well, yes, you're right. You're right. I've learned that valuable lesson at the young age of 10.
Yeah.
Very good. It looks like Coach Chad is back. Coach Chad, you working again? Are you good?
I think so. Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you now.
Ashlee.
Okay.
Ashlee,
I apologize. All of a sudden, they kicked me off.
That's okay. Coach Murren, I tried in my young age, I may not have all the facts correct, as Coach Ashlee laughs. I desperately tried to recruit Ashlee to go to ISU, thinking this would be a wonderful pantograph story. High school kid, local kid goes to the local school. I had researched violins and was going to serenade her at her house. I think there was a music store in town that had a violin, and I was going to go and rent it. And then one day she walked in my office and said, hey, and I think that she, at that time you were looking at like Tennessee, A&M, and some other schools. Like I think Pat Summit was bought in to getting you to come to Tennessee. And I think you was a basketball soccer deal or something like that. And some other things were going on, but you were very polite. You came in and said, I'm not coming here. But I had researched violins. I was ready and prepared. I was going to put on whatever suit I had, and I was going to go and serenade her to try and, I don't know what I was going to play, like the ISU fight song with violin. I don't know. At that time, I probably wasn't thinking straight.
There's always a story, Coach Pete, isn't there?
There's always a story. In soccer, there's always a story. Yes, Coach Murn, yes.
Coach Chad, let's try again. See if Ashlee can hear you.
Okay. Coach Ashlee, can you hear me?
All right, Coach Chad, I'm gonna keep you on. We're gonna boot you out and then maybe get you back in a couple minutes. All right.
I want to duly note it to all the people that are messaging that I'm the one that's on and listening and hearing, and everyone can see me, Coach Murn, right? Even you are shocked and stunned.
I am impressed. That's good. Okay, so here's the next one for you, Coach Pete. A very important question. So I'll pass over to Coach Ashlee first of all. So, Coach Ashlee, if you could go anywhere you'd like to go for vacation, budget wasn't an issue, where would you go?
I would. That's a great question. I mean, I've never been to the places I want to say, so I'm like Bahamas, something like that. I went to Hawaii, and that was pretty amazing. But I would say just go down to Florida. I want the beach, and I want warm weather, and I would be good.
Okay, great. Okay, Coach Pete.
Scotland or Ireland to play golf, Coach Murray.
Really?
Right?
Okay.
Yes. I played golf in Africa and Spain and France and a few other places, but I've never played in Scotland or Ireland. I don't know which one's better. I'm assuming you're going to say Ireland.
No, I'm going to say Ireland.
Okay. So I would like one day to go over there and play.
Yeah, I got somewhere you can stay when you go over there, Coach Pete. We can get that arranged.
Awesome. What would be the fare at dinner time? What would it be? Hash or
meat and potatoes. Meat and potatoes. Meat and potatoes. It's a shepherd's pie.
Shepherd's pie. I like shepherd's pie.
And it rains. That's all it does. You don't want to go.
I do agree with Coach Ashlee. I would be nice to have some warm weather. I don't know. Should we close our windows again?
Yeah, go in September, Coach Pete. I think I told you last summer when I was over there, it was like 65 degrees, maybe 70 degrees. And you said you love that.
Okay.
Get yourself over.
Yeah, I would like that.
Yeah. Okay, Coach Ashlee, kind of a two-part question. One, who is your favorite soccer player and why? And also, what is your coaching philosophy?
Yeah. So Michelle Akers will forever be my favorite soccer player. That's who I idolized growing up. She played in the 90s era. She was just a big-time player, center mid, that just took over a game, was the beast, was the dominant force in the midfield, and just idolized her and wanted to be her. One cool thing is she was at the USA Cup, which is in Blaine, Minnesota, when I was probably, I'd say 8 or 9. I was up there for my brother's tournament, and she did a workout for everybody, and I got to be a demo kid, and I got to get her autograph and got a poster. So obviously that helped it, but that was an awesome experience.
Right.
And then I got to watch her in the 96 Olympics. We went down and got to watch her play. So favorite player for sure. And then the next question was what?
What is your coaching philosophy?
Oh, yes. So coaching philosophy, as everyone knows, it's about the kids, right? You got to make it about the kids. And especially this day and age, that's all it's about, right? It should always be that way, but the kids are what make the team. So you got to adjust to what their needs are. For me, I love teaching the technical game. I just want every kid to be comfortable technically and learning where to be and where to go. And what to do in those situations. I love creativity. So once they get that technical side of it down and knowing where to be, just kind of letting them do their thing and create and work off each other.
Okay, great. Thanks, Ashlee. Okay, and then Ashlee, I think some people would say Michelle Akers was the best U.S. women's player of all time.
Yes, I would agree with that.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, very cool. Okay, Coach Pete. So same questions, kind of two parts, favorite player and also your coaching philosophy.
Yeah, I have two quickly. One, Wayne Rooney. I'm a big Man U fan. I know all the people on here, including you, Coach Murn. just love the fact that I'm a Man U fan through thick or thin. And right now it's a bit thin, but
It's been more thick. Maybe more thick though, Coach Pete.
Every night I get down on my hands and knees and pray that Sir Alex comes back, even if he's in a wheelchair. And then just his love and passion for the game, even like, when he came domestically in here and scored one of those goals or assisted on a goal for his recent MLS team. And then Mia Hamm is on the women's side. Mine. I was blessed to work the UNC camps when I coached at Maryland, and for the first time I met her, we played in a coach's game after the sessions one afternoon, and I was certainly out of my element, but I tried as hard as I could to stay in with it. But I've never played with Michelle Akers. I've met her a couple times, but I've never played with someone like that just could play at that level, intensity and speed and so forth. And yes, Coach Ashlee's a very good player. Mia Hamm was just, and I had the unfortunate opportunity to play in a 4v4 game with her back in the day when I was a college coach. I was invited in with some national training, and they invited college coaches in, and I was blessed to go on a couple of trips. And I got to jump in on a 4v4 game because some of the other players were injured. And so I got a verbal lashing from her because my first few touches weren't quite right. And her response to my first few touches was in a very high tone, Coach Murren and Ashlee, if that's how you're going to play, jump off and we'll play short. So I learned quickly that she was A, very competitive, and B, she did not tolerate her teammates to be subpar. So that was I learned that. We had dinner that night at the team dinner, and she came up and apologized. And I said, no apologies necessary. I actually got better in that game, Coach Murren. Ashlee, I know you think I'm lying, but I got better in that game. And I know Coach Joe Morelli, if he's listening to this, is laughing as well. But I did get better. I stayed in the back, I bunkered in, I kept the line, didn't make any mistakes, didn't really get out of my comfort zone. But I appreciated it. I mean, I've seen Ashlee play, but at that level, those players, my team was Julie Foudy, Mia Hamm, and Linda Hamilton, and that is it's unbelievable. So, yeah. I think we won that game 6-5, if I'm not mistaken. But that was just a couple of years ago, Coach Murren.
Yeah, I can believe that, Coach Pete. So you guys have done great. So I have one last question, and I think we've certainly hit on a few of these stories, but we'll put it out there. So I think I've mentioned this a couple of times. We have somebody in the club that one of the coaches likes to go skydiving. So, Coach Ashlee, tell us one less known fact or interesting fact about you.
Mine's not sky. I'm deaf in my right ear. That's what I was planning to say.
I didn't know. Can you hear anything? You can hear anything in your right ear?
For a year would be the other thing.
Okay. Cool. Okay. Very, very good. I didn't know that. Coach Pete, looks like you're still musing.
Yeah, I think all the friends that are on here would probably list 8 or 9 things that are, interesting or maybe wrong, a little bit wrong or off on me. But I've been to Africa 3 times. I played with a couple of guys that are from Tunisia. And so we went to 2 weddings, and then we just went for a holiday trip. And so we flew into, I think, the UK and then flew down.
That's awesome.
Very good. When was your last trip there, Coach Pete?
Oh, it was a few years ago, Coach Murren.
Okay.
I think I'm just going to get a T-shirt. Can I go back one? I know we may be pressed for time. I'll do it shortly and quickly, to the surprise of many of my friends on this. But my coaching philosophy has changed a little bit, and I've learned from all of you, Coach Ashlee, Coach Murren. When kids enjoy the game, like Coach Ashlee said, there's so many rewards to that. Yes, it's nice to win games, but when you see a kid that starts an academy and they can't kick the ball from midline into a goal for a penalty, but they can the next season or maybe later on in that season, things like that, or just Lavaz's juggle tag right before all of this happened. Things like that really make my heart warm. in terms of seeing kids develop, and even if it's just trying their left foot or doing something else. And I agree with Ashlee, the technical part. So I really appreciate that and enjoy that part of the coaching.
Okay, great. Well, Ashlee and Coach Pete, thank you very much for being on here tonight. And thank you, Coach Chad, too, for being on here and getting it going. Sorry that you had some technical difficulties. And Coach Pete, you will be pleased to know, and Coach Ashlee, that this will be forever live on Facebook, so people can always go back and revisit some of your ice cream stories and things like that. All right.
You owe me.
Happy Mother's Day, everybody. Ashlee, happy Mother's Day. Happy Mothers to all the club's moms. God bless you.
Yeah.
Happy Mother's Day, guys.
Thank you, guys. See you later. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Bye,
Bye, guys.
Coach Vern. Bye, Coach Ashlee.